So my name's Rachel, I have anxiety and I have depression, and I don't want to talk about either of those things today because I talk about them all the time and I'm kind of bored of talking about them, so I'm going to talk about some other issues that I have. And I think the reason I don't talk about these nearly as much is partly because we sort of have this hierarchy now. Like, obviously there's still a massive stigma around all mental health problems, but like it's somehow more acceptable to talk, I think, about anxiety and depression than it is about other issues. But also, I've never been sort of categorically diagnosed with an eating disorder or anything like that, which makes it, I think, a lot more difficult for me to articulate it. I don't know, I don't really understand it fully. Basically, all I know is that sometimes I don't want to eat, and I don't want to eat for reasons that are psychological and reasons that are unhealthy. And sometimes that's related to depression, especially was when I was younger. It's kind of a self-esteem thing, not really about like my body type, but so much just like just controlling, in a sense of like trying to control my life when everything felt really out of control. So I wanted to control what got put in my body. But now, like, sometimes, yeah, it will go hand in hand with depression, but sometimes I'll feel fine and I'll be perfectly happy, but I'll just kind of not want to eat. And it's, you know, it's something I'm still like trying to make sense of and trying to come to terms with. And I don't think I've ever, well, I've never taken it to a point where there's any real risk of physical damage to me. But it's just sort of more the reasons and the things going on in my head that make that it seem like a good idea to just not put food in my body. And similarly, I have self-harmed. I don't know if I'd consider myself much of a self-harmer. I've never taken it so far as to really do myself any real long-term physical damage. I've never really self-harmed like regularly. And again, sometimes it's totally something that goes hand in hand with depression, and sometimes it's just kind of a compulsion that doesn't. So I still don't really know what to make of either of these two things or like their impact on my life. And part of that, I think, is I've never seen a proper psychiatrist. So I've seen a GP about my anxiety and depression. I'm on meds for them, and I've written about this before, but I think antidepressants, if they work for you, are great. They work really well for me. I love them. They're excellent. But I've never, because the realities of the NHS and healthcare provision in the UK, like, been able to see a proper psychiatrist, and I really want to, because I think sort of understanding my anxiety and depression in that context, but also understanding sort of this other stuff that's going on in my head that I just don't know how to categorize. I know it's a mental health problem, but I don't have the words to explain what it is, or if it is an eating disorder, or if it is, you know, I just don't know. So that's my story, or part of my story, that I just wanted to talk about quickly today. Yeah.